I know a fair number of people who have a strong interest in games like Solitaire or even Freecell, also known as Pawkt. Stray Path takes the core concepts of these card games and blends it with dungeon crawling and survival elements, challenging you with increasingly difficult odds and effects that push you to your limits, while rewarding those that take on the harder challenges to unlock more characters, equipment, and achievements through the higher scores. If you've been craving a game that combines the charm of a card game with elements of dungeon crawling, that has been intermingled with a calm but tense atmosphere, then Stray Path might be perfect for you due to its many underlying simple but challenging elements. The game is very easy to get into, but is very hard to master, and there's nothing inherently wrong with its design. The UI is solid and clean in presentation as to not overwhelm or confuse you, offering plenty of characters to choose from and to unlock. All of the information that you need is clearly presented, which is essential when facing increasingly difficult odds. Playing your inventory cards, moving around enemies and buffs while managing other elements like chests, heals, and so on feels very intuitive. Both the soundtrack and the sound effects complement the game well, helping to keep your focus on each different build and playstyle without distracting you, right up until your inevitable failure when you come unprepared. With 7 different characters, exclusive relics, and over 12 emblems to combine and equip, there is a fair amount of variety to experiment with here. Sitting down for a run isn't all that time consuming. Each run begins the same way, choosing a loadout, identifying elements that you want to unlock for future attempts, and pushing forward to meet those goals. Whether it's a character, relic, chest, stat upgrade, or an item card, every card that you move around contributes to helping or diminishing your power against tougher encounters. Some enemies come with deadly effects that can instantly end your run when your turn is over, while others are a lot more basic, relying on simple attacks that can be handled with brute force. If you collect the right relics, you could lean into a low attack, high defense explosive build, wiping out bosses and enemy waves quickly as you stack up the firepower. The same thing goes for a build with poison relics, shielding, healing, or just the raw pure inflated physical damage with one-shot capability and item creating to seal off enemies until you're ready to deal with them. Each and every stat is very important. Enemies will respond in certain ways to your actions, only attacking you when you fulfill the parameters or attack them directly. Each class plays differently. Some are more mechanical, but each one is exciting to play around with. No matter how good you are at this game, certain enemy effects can still end things in an instant, so you need to always pay close attention to what you're up against. It's important to maintain a balanced mix of attack, defense, health, and most importantly, luck. Depending on the build you've discovered during your current run, it can be as simple as having a negative stat like luck that can ruin your run as you slowly go into depth. If this is your first time playing, don't expect much variation because the game is progression based, so earlier runs offer limited diversity until you've gotten through a good chunk of it. Afterwards, you can purchase new characters, relics, and game-changing elements that can raise or lower your score. Things do start to open after a few attempts. For example, once you unlock the assassin, you can shift from barely surviving with the main character to one-shotting everything, including some bosses with high attack-based stats. The main goal in Stray Path is to escape the dungeon, a task that is far from easy when you consider just how many floors and bosses that there actually are, each with their own special effects. The game will continue to throw powerful enemies and harsh curses your way, effectively stripping away your core stats and making survival impossible unless you've come prepared. The game offers a decent challenge, and I had a lot of fun with this type of gameplay, even after burning out on the Steam Next Fest demo. Once the game was released, it offered a simple deal of meaningful replay value after the initial introduction to the game, due to its progression system. I can see many other players enjoying it as much as I have, in the past and as of now. The game features solid design, thoughtful mechanics, and a fair amount of strategy, blending the appeal of a card game with dungeon crawling. This mix is exactly what keeps me coming back time and time again.